Hello everyone. So the sun is now ingressing into Pisces. So we have about a month of exploration of our Piscean consciousness. If you don't already know, Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac, which means that it is in the natural wheel of consciousness, the 12th house. And so what is the 12th house? What is Pisces consciousness? It actually contains the entire zodiac. It is the culmination of the wheel of consciousness or zodiac. So it contains all of the archetypes. And it is actually correlated to the cosmic womb and the formless, the unseen world, where in that formlessness, one can take any shape. And so Piscean consciousness is that part of us that can really tap into the collective unconscious and really actually take on any energy or expression of energy that is expressed throughout the entire zodiacal wheel or wheel of consciousness. And so right now, as the sun moves into Pisces, we have Neptune in Pisces, and we also have Jupiter in Pisces. So within the next month, the sun will conjunct Jupiter, and conjunct means that it's in the same degree of the sky as Jupiter, right? And then it will conjunct Neptune at some point in the next month. So you can be looking out for that, for those conjunctions, and also looking out for any videos that I post about those. But in that, the sun, when it conjuncts Jupiter in Pisces, it's going to shine the light on our own beliefs and our own visions and our visionary. And as it conjuncts Neptune, it's going to shine the light on our perception of the divine essence and the collective unconscious. So I'm going to shuffle the cards here. These are the Carolyn Mace archetype cards. And what I'd like to do is pull a card for collective contemplation for the month as the sun ingresses Piscean consciousness. And you can look to see in your personal birth chart or natal chart what house Pisces consciousness is in, because this shows what aspect of life the sun, as it moves through Pisces, shines the light on this part of your life. If you don't already know, Jupiter and Neptune are both co-rulers or planetary guides of Piscean consciousness. So it's pretty special that we have both rulers of Pisces in its own sign. So it's pretty special that the sun will actually come close to both of those planets and really shine the light on those planets in regards to Piscean consciousness. Neptune and Jupiter are going to conjunct, meaning they'll be in the same degree of Pisces, April 12th. So it's something to look out for. You can see where that's happening in your chart. It's a very special conjunction. It happens very rarely. So I'm going to shuffle this one last time, and then we're going to pick a card. We'll talk about it. And this is really, as I said, for collective contemplation for the next month as the sun moves through Pisces. Queen. So Carolyn Mace always talks about the light attributes of an archetype and the shadow attributes. So I'm just going to read to you what she says about the Queen, and then we'll talk about it as it relates to Piscean consciousness. So the light attributes, she says, is radiates the regal feminine, uses her benevolent authority to protect others. The shadow attributes are becomes arrogant when authority is challenged, controlling and demanding. So in regards to Piscean consciousness, this is interesting. So let's look at this here. Let me think for a moment here. You know, I don't know if you know this, but there is a fixed star called Regulus. It moves very, very slowly, and it's entered Virgo fairly recently, within the last handful of years. And it's been in Leo for quite a while. When we think of Queen, we think of the Leo archetype, especially because Regulus has been in this sign for so long, and for it to move into Virgo is a pretty big deal. And so, you know, whenever we talk about Pisces, we're going to be talking about Virgo, because they actually really work together in the zodiac, because they're on opposite ends of the wheel, so they work together. And so my first instinct is to think about the fact that, you know, Regulus has now gone into Virgo, and this is very much, rather than having royalty, because Regulus really just denotes royalty, rather than being in Leo, where Leo is the cultivation and development, the culmination of the development of the ego, when we bring this to Virgo, this is about the royalty in the everyday woman, royalty and the simplicity. And so it's really bringing in this regalness in the simplicity. And when there is this regalness in that simplicity, in the Virgoan archetype, we're looking at really utilizing the ego in service to the collective, which is very much a Piscean energy. So Pisces is representative of the collective and the collective unconscious, and as well as the divine. And so Virgo is very much in service to that. So I really feel like this light attribute of the Queen, it's really talking about that. It's radiating the regal feminine. Virgo is a feminine sign, and therefore yin sign, and Pisces is a feminine sign, a yin sign. And so this is really about bridging our service on an individual level and being the queen of our own lives, but also in service to the collective and the collective unconscious. And when I say collective unconscious, I'm really thinking about that unconsciously, collectively, we know we're all part of one being that is evolving, as well as in service to a bigger plan, a more holistic plan that involves more than our own individual ego. And so this is where we can use our own personal authority as a benevolent authority in protection of the bigger plan, the divine, the collective, more than just our own personal gain. And as she says, the shadow attributes is becoming arrogant when authority is challenged. So this is like recognizing that it's important to keep our own personal agendas in check and recognize that we're one piece of a much bigger puzzle. And this is the collective or Piscean consciousness. And that we are not only in service to our own evolutionary purpose, but also the evolutionary purpose of the collective. And so when she says controlling and demanding, this is when, you know, if we become controlling and demanding, we are losing sight of a much bigger plan than what our personal ego can understand. So if we lose sight of our contribution of our ego in service to the collective, then we can become controlling and demanding on the collective to be and do a certain way. But there's such a much bigger experience happening than our ego can really really comprehend. And so I think this is really speaking to, making sure that we don't become too self-centered, and that we actually do keep in mind this Piscean and Virgoan consciousness, where we're recognizing that we're part of a much bigger whole, and that as we contribute our own personal evolutionary path towards that bigger whole, also recognizing that everyone is contributing their own personal evolutionary path to the whole that makes up the collective consciousness, the collective unconscious, and the divine being expressed and evolved. So I hope this is helpful. If you have any questions, comments, I would love to hear. And may you enjoy exploring your own Piscean consciousness for the next month. And I'll be back with more videos about the Sun conjunct Jupiter and the Sun conjunct Neptune in Pisces as well. If you find this video helpful, please do like, comment, or share. And I'll see you in the next video.